Ladies and gentlemen, hey, hi, how you doing? Welcome back to the channel. Thank you so much for stopping by. Coming up here pretty soon at the end of the month, we are going to get our very first hands-on experience with Black Ops 6 courtesy of the beta. And this time around, while there are some similarities to some previous Call of Duty multiplayer betas, there's actually a lot of different things happening as well. And so today I wanted to go through and break down absolutely everything we currently know about the Black Ops 6 multiplayer beta. So first things first, as far as the timing goes here, we actually have a lot of beta playtime, especially if you are an early access player. So with that, the early access is opening up on August 30th, just a couple of days after Call of Duty Next, obviously, which features all of the major Black Ops 6 reveals. With the early access period, this actually goes from the 30th all the way through September 4th, so a little bit into the following week rather than just the initial beta weekend. You get a couple of extra days in there, it seems like. And then shortly thereafter, there's only about a day or so of downtime because the open beta then starts on September 6th, and then that goes through September 9th. So if you do end up taking part in that early access playtime, you end up getting a lot of days to have hands-on with Black Ops 6 prior to launch. It seems like a lot more than in years past, or maybe that first weekend was just a couple of days, 2 or 3 days ultimately there. Another pretty important part with this, though, is that even throughout the early access period, and then obviously extending into the open beta period as well, this is the first ever Call of Duty beta that has absolutely no platform exclusivity whatsoever. Obviously, with Microsoft now taking over, Sony's exclusivity contract has run out. That was not renewed. And with that, that means on August 30th, when the beta becomes available for early access, everyone on PlayStation and Xbox and PC is going to be able to jump on and play the game at the same time. And then same deal with the open beta on the 6th. If you don't end up pre-ordering or doing anything there, doesn't matter what platform you're on, you'll be able to jump on the game the same time as everyone else. That, in my opinion, is an absolute win for a couple of reasons. Obviously, if you don't have a PlayStation, like in years past where it was the first weekend or the first couple of days were PlayStation only, you just had to sit around and wait. You couldn't jump on. But also, I don't have to change around my entire setup to record PlayStation gameplay for a weekend, which is fantastic there. So definitely really cool updates in terms of no exclusivity and the overall availability for the beta as a whole. Now let's talk about how to actually gain access to the beta itself, because there are a few different ways to do this year, courtesy of some changes made because of Microsoft. So early access is still going to be relatively straightforward. If you pre-order for early access, you're going to be able to get into that. So that is the key way to take part in that early access beta. You either have to pre-order in some capacity, or you have to win a beta code, which Call of Duty has given out some. I imagine they're going to continue to give out more as well. But this works for digital editions on the Call of Duty store actually in your game, or just on your platform store. So if you open up the Microsoft store or the PlayStation Network store, Battle.net or whatever else there, right? Or you can do a physical edition at participating retailers. So not every single retailer is necessarily going to offer pre-orders there, but if you do go into, your local game store or whatever it ends up being, you can get, a pre-order there. Usually they're going to end up having your beta code printed on the receipt, or they'll end up emailing it to you. I assume the employees in those stores will probably explain the process of how you get your code, and then you can go on to the site that it lists and actually redeem that and make sure that you do have your early access lined up and ready. But in addition to that, for the first time ever, Game Pass is also a part of pre-ordering. So this is pretty interesting. If you are an active Game Pass subscriber this year and you are actively subscribed to Game Pass, certain tiers of it, when the beta comes around, being a part of Game Pass and being subscribed to Game Pass actually essentially counts as pre-ordering the game. So if you are subscribed to Game Pass when that early access period rolls around on the 30th, you'll end up being able to jump on and take part in that early access playtest. So that's kind of a cool benefit of being subscribed to Game Pass. And of course, Black Ops 6 is going to be a day one title for that. So you'll be able to play the game right when it launches in late October as well. Now, the actual beta itself is going to have its own individual download, or that's how they described it so far. Pretty much everything in some capacity is still a part of the Call of Duty HQ, right? So it might just be like an additional install to that. It might be its own separate app. We're going to have to wait and see, but there will be specific codes for that download that do end up coming out a little bit closer to the launch of the beta. So in the coming days, be on the lookout for that. You're going to receive an email if you have gone through and registered a code, or if you have pre-ordered digitally, right? Whatever whatever account you have associated with your Call of Duty account or whatever email, you should have something coming there that actually tells you and explains to you how to download it, where to download it, so you can get that downloaded ahead of time, because there will in fact be a preload option for the beta as well. The Call of Duty frequently asked questions page on the beta site does mention that preloading will be a thing, and they'll be expanding on some details with that here in the near future. And by the way, as we are going through all of the beta details here, everything you need to know, if you enjoyed the video, if you're excited for the BO6 beta, do me a favor, drop a like. It's always really appreciated. And if you are new to the channel and you want to guarantee you are always up to date with everything going on in COD, this is your one-stop shop. I got you covered on a daily basis, so feel free to hit that subscribe button and turn on those post notifications. Now, outside of the just basic, straightforward, actual beta details, let's talk about what to expect within the Black Ops 6 beta in terms of content, what'll be available, what won't be available, everything in between. So in this sense, it's going to be decently similar to some of the betas that we've had in the past. As of right now, throughout all the reveals and everything that we've got for Black Ops 6, their core focus is definitely on 6v6 gameplay. We know at launch there's going to be 16 different 6v6 maps. 4 of those are going to be available to play in 6v6 and 2v2. So I would expect pretty much the entirety of the beta to be based around a select few 6v6 maps, and then maybe if they do end up doing some mode updates, some 2v2 options in there as well. But more than likely, we're going to have like 4 to 5 6v6 maps to go through and play on and get a good feel for the game. More than likely, we're also going to end up having the base 55 levels associated with the initial prestige that's in the game. However, since this is just the beta, the full-on prestige mode is probably not going to be a thing. And do keep in mind that none of your progress throughout the beta is going to transfer into the full game. So if you reach level 45 in the beta, on launch, you're still going to be starting off as level 1. If you level up a specific rifle or a specific SMG to max level in the beta, at launch, it's still going to be level 1. It's going to be a full reset. So the beta is simply a temporary trial. No progress there is going to transfer over outside of the potential beta rewards, which also will probably be a thing based on history. They'll probably detail those where by reaching certain levels, by doing certain things in the different beta weekends, you'll be able to get some exclusive, in-game content, whether it's a blueprint or an emblem or a sticker or whatever else when the full game ends up, launching. In addition to the base 55 levels, we will have some limited weapon, perk, and gear options. I would imagine full customization like camos and custom blueprints and things like that are going to be reserved for the full game. We'll have just the basic form of the gunsmith with just the weapons, just the attachments, and probably not even all the weapons and all the attachments because it will be somewhat limited. We're not going to get the full game, obviously, during the beta. So there will be some content specifically just for that, and then the remainder of it, obviously, all will be accessible on launch on day 1. Another cool thing about the beta is the fact that if you do go through and you pre-order the Vault Edition of the game, that Vault Edition content, at least some of it, is actually going to be available during the beta for you to use. So things like the various different operator skins that the Vault Edition offers, then also some of the weapon blueprints for those select few guns that are available there, those will be accessible to you during the beta as well. Obviously, things like the Gobblegums, the Battle Pass stuff, that's all going to be reserved for the full game, but some of that multiplayer-based content will be used. And then, of course, just like in years past with our 2 different beta weekends here, early access and open, there are going to be multiple different beta updates. So we're going to gain access throughout the beta to maybe a couple of new maps. There's going to be different level caps depending on certain days or certain weekends there. We're going to see new modes introduced, and then also there will probably be some actual gameplay updates as well. They might go through and adjust certain weapon strength, certain different gameplay mechanics to test around and see what the general community feedback is on certain things. So we actually will technically have like beta patch notes dropping throughout both weekends, most likely, if it's anything like years past. But all that being said, for now, that is effectively everything we currently know about the Black Ops 6 beta, and that's gonna wrap things up. If you enjoyed the video, a like rating is always really appreciated. And of course, if you're new here, be sure to hit that subscribe button on your way out so you can always guarantee you're up to date with everything going on in COD. But once again, thank you so much for tuning in, and until next time, take it easy, have an awesome rest of your day, and I'll catch you later. Peace out.